So here again in Loreto Street, this massive temple here.
It's a good example of that, but you have to start right here.
Yeah, but this is from the time period before the Inca, and you can look and you see the style of construction, you see the perfection. On the opposite wall, this is Inca. You can tell that because the stones are a little bit irregular in shape and they have obvious tool marks in them. You can see the points, the little white points here. You can tell that these are tool marks from obsidian or some other stone tool. But when we cross over to this side, you see marks, but these are not tool marks. You can't see where the stone has been punctured or bruised. And that's one of the indicators. The other one is the fact that you see this very smooth surface and very shiny, as though some incredible heat source was used to harden what was a softer stone previously. So this is in Loreto Street still. And in terms of building, as someone who's worked in stone a little bit, you look at this joinery, and this is explained to me as being of the Inca period. And you look at that and you go, wow, that's really well done. You know, I can see the tool marks, and I can see where, you know, the joins were made, and that's, you know, that's very well done. It's very fine craftsmanship. But right across the way, this is thought to be from an earlier period, pre-Inca. And this is where the technical accuracy is just, like, you know, beyond belief. I mean, this is basically perfect joinery. And not just that, but when you move along, where the stones intersect, like here, this tiny little difference between the height of these two and how it shows up there. And this perfectly straight line. So on this wall near the Coricancha, we have, this is classic Inca construction. But right next to it, we have the Urunpacha, the pre-Inca construction. Larger blocks, green andesite, very hard stone. And again, the way that they love to shape the corners like this, aesthetic, but also in terms of for strength. And then as we come down, then this is the later Inca way of building. So you have three kinds in one corner.
Early Inca
Early Inca. So Jesus Gamara calls this the most perfectly built wall in the world. This is one of the walls of the Coricancha, and it may be from the Hananpacha period, which is the eldest period. Then came the Urunpacha, and after that the Ukunpacha, of which the Inca were part of. But this is technically as close to being perfect human or whatever building. I mean, this, you can't even see. You can see where the joint is, but it's way beyond any concept of putting a piece of paper in or whatever. Like, this is perfect joinery. Absolutely impossible with the use of stone tools or obsidian tools or maybe even tungsten carbide tools. This is incredibly ancient and has withstood earthquake after earthquake. You see where the joins have an actual glow to them. They shine. And again, this wall, according to Jesus Camara, is the most perfectly built wall in the world. And the shiny area is what is intriguing. Why is it shiny where the joins are? Was it because they were polished, or because there was some kind of heat treatment involved in the construction? And they talk about if the Inca existed for 300 years, from 1200 to 500, why would their building style change from being this to that? Or vice versa, how could they have changed their style of building if it went the other way, from this to that? And this is inside the Coricancha, the Temple of the Rainbow and the Temple of Lightning. And this is just an interesting visual effect. Compare, this is probably earthquake damage, but compare the way this building or construction method is as compared to the later Spanish. Pretty, but not technically that brilliant. Okay, this is a hole in a block of stone in the Coricancha, and if you haven't actually been here to look at this, you couldn't tell, but this was made by a machine. A 500-year-old machine, or a 1,000-year-old machine, or a 10,000-year-old machine, but it is machined, and this is andesite or diorite, super hard stone. This is another great example. You know, who made this and what did it do? And some of these other ones, some look, you know, this could have been done by somebody, human being. But how about this? What is it? Where originally was it? And what did it do? And again, we have this block, which is, it looks very simple. But actually the Intihuatana also looks simple, unless you take into account the fact that some form of saw would have to have been used to cut away the planes to remove these large stone pieces from that.
This piece is from the outside.
So this is the absolute center of the Coricancha, and the Coricancha was the center of the Inca world. And this single block of very hard stone, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but you can see the glint of quartz coming off, so it's a very, very hard stone, possibly andesite, but it's one block, one piece. and these mysterious grooves that are here and holes.
The similar exists inside the pharaoh chamber in Giza.
That's true. As Jesus has just said, something similar is inside the king's chamber at Giza, the so-called sarcophagus, which is granite. And it's not a sarcophagus, but it's one single piece of hewn out stone. So here's where this mysterious shrine is. It's a very obvious example of it. And again, Jesus believes that it's part of the heat treatment that was done to harden these stones, because you can also see it here, not only on the wall but in the joints. Oh yeah. And here again, this is the very special passageway where the Pleiades rise. You see the brilliant shine on this stone here. And down through these joints. This is what is called a chulpa tower at Silustani near Lake Titicaca. It was built by the Wari culture prior to the arrival of the Inca, and this is where someone or several people were buried because we found bones inside. However, this above is another chulpa tower. Conventional archaeology says that this was built after by the Inca culture. However, we have evidence that this is actually much older than this one, and that this is an attempt to replicate the look of that. So what we're going to see is this is one of many places where conventional archaeology has got the entire story backwards and round, or wrong. Because what we are witnessing is the finest construction is the oldest, the more recent is the more primitive. Whereas conventional archaeology teaches us, and history, that we are a evolving being going solely from the primitive to the advanced. But the true fact is that societies rise, societies fall. Rise again and fall. Technology is learned, it is enhanced, then it collapses. As the society collapses, the knowledge disappears and is sometimes So Peter's going to show us what happens when you move a compass away from the building. You can see that it's twitching. And then back in again, please. So there definitely seems to be a magnetic anomaly of some kind going on here, suggesting that these towers were not funeral towers, but they had an energetic function. So what you're looking at is a chulpa tower where half of it has been removed. Now most people are going to say that it was the the Spanish who did that they were tearing it apart for construction, but it's more likely, having been here many times, that actually this is a sign of an ancient explosion, that these were sonic resonating towers, and that there was an action that happened thousands of years ago that caused it, at least the outer part, to explode and to throw the exterior off in this direction. Now the explosion seems to have happened from east or east-northeast out this way, but we're going to test with other ones and see if that's the case. The outer area is made out of basalt, but the inner core is made out of a diorite or andesite material. The andesite is much denser than the exterior, and this clay possibly was some kind of insulating material. So rather than this being a funeral tower, this could have in fact been an ancient energy generator or storage devices. So you see this one, it's been recreated. Maybe half of it was intact. And so foolishly they've added this clay to fill in. This was done 2 years ago. But the cracks are evidence of something more than simply weight on top of weight. This one seems to resonate again to A sharp, and it causes actually the interior to really vibrate. Your body vibrates as well when you're inside. Another curious thing about these towers is that they taper upwards. They get wider as you go up, which is not a smart building practice in the modern day, the way we build buildings. Also the band that's around it, and you can see at the very top the way that it curves in. Oops, like that. So Christopher Dunn, the engineer, has a theory that these possibly were like pipes, or that the energy or sound was coming upwards. And his idea, I believe, is that these were actual earthquake or energy relieving chambers to reduce the chance of earthquake. So Charles, you were inside one of these, actually this one on the right. And could you tell me what was happening with the dowsing rods that were in there with you?
Maxine was using the dowsing rods, and it was spinning in a clockwise direction. Not too fast and not too slow. There was 3 of us trying different tones while we were in there. Inside, there's almost like a spiral rock protrusion of stairway leading to the top, or almost to the top, and it looks like there's a square hatch right in the middle at the top. And so that much of it must be hollow, or there must be something in there, because I mean it looks like a stone door. It's a door, square door.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So what you're looking at now is the debris field from a massive square one, which is here. So again, it's unlikely that this was manually taken apart, but could have been the result of a massive explosion in the distant past. If these were energy structures, capacitors, or generators, the system could have overloaded at some point, and then the whole thing, or the whole series, exploded to different degrees. What you're looking at is a redhead, as you can see, but not just any redhead. This is an elongated skull in the Paracas History Museum in Peru. As you can see, the hair color is not Indian. Indian hair is black. Native American people have black hair. This person doesn't. And in order to highlight this is a bit of hair that has come off the skull. So you can see in the sunlight, you can see what color it is. This was an auburn redhead. This is the Paracas baby skull. This is a child who was probably between 1 and 2 years old upon death. And what you can see is this baby had an elongated skull. So the question is, was this skull bound soon after birth in order to achieve this shape? or under this wrapping, is this a naturally elongated human skull? That is the burning question. Very close-up shot. You can see the bone. And here, these are the teeth. You can see the number of teeth there. One of the great enigmas here in Peru at the Paracas History Museum, south of Lima. Just Google www.hiddenincatours.com for more information. What you're looking at is a redhead, but not just any redhead. You can see this skull is clearly different from you. Senior Juan Navarro of the Paracas History Museum is now going to slowly rotate the skull so that you get a view of it. Okay, bueno, gracias. So what we're clearly looking at is not a normal resident of Peru, or at least not a normal Indian person. Clearly there is something very different about this person. Not only the shape of the skull, but also the fact that it has this short red hair. So we welcome you to come and visit the Paracas History Museum and see for yourself. We don't only have one of these, there are actually 5 that have hair, and a total collection of 40 skulls so far of the ancient Paracas people. Most tourists never see this site, which is called Chinchero, about 40 minutes drive outside of Cusco, the capital of the Inca. But it is quite astonishing, as you can see, the Royal Inca terracing system, which in the Inca language are called andene. This site, Chinchero, hosts some of the most beautiful and largest terracing systems in all of the Inca world. As seen, thanks to my quadcopter called Pachacutec. But what's even more curious is the stone you see at the bottom of the screen. Now, what most archaeologists don't accept is the fact that whoever did this work was not the Inca, because the amount of erosion of the stone surfaces is excessive, most likely much more than would be capable in the course of only 500 to 1,000 years. And here we go. Once again, we're flying over the terracing system, and now over this strange cutout stone. It's not one of a kind. There are in fact hundreds, if not thousands, of these strange cut and shaped surfaces in the bedrock at every major Inca site, including Machu Picchu, and even at some of the minor sites. And what we believe, or at least what I believe, is that this work was done with lost ancient high technology thousands of years prior to the existence of the Inca in and around Cusco.
The question, of course, is who were these people? The Inca were a very advanced civilization, especially as regards agriculture. You can see these beautiful terraces, again called andene, which they produced in profusion. They had so much agricultural capacity that they could easily feed all of their 15 million subjects and had enough stored to last for at least 4 years. That was part of the success of the great Inca culture, erroneously called an empire. But again, as the quadcopter approaches the large carved stone, you'll see how complex all of these strange features are. Some archaeologists believe that this and other sites like it were quarries. However, the Inca had bronze tools and did not therefore have the technological capability to be able to cut such fine surfaces. And the level of erosion through rain and sun and wind is in excess of the timeline of the Inca civilization. Some of the oral traditions refer to these very ancient technological people as the Pirwas. And here we have a brief glimpse over an astonishing Inca work, and this work is called Morai. It is far larger than the size of a football stadium. The question is, what was its function? It's almost 100% sure that the Inca created this amazing terracing system, and again, conventional archaeology says that the giant circles you just did see, and now see again, were made as an agricultural experimentation station, that the Inca were testing different levels for different crops. However, 3 years ago, German scientists measured the temperature and humidity of each one of the levels, and there is no significant difference. So was this a huge stadium of the Inca? Was it for growing agriculture? Or possibly, was it for both? There is a celebration that happens every early August when plants are not being grown in Peru, and at that time this entire area is filled with thousands of people dressed as Inca.